This is the WHKY News. I'm Ralph Mangum. Instead of our usual crime roundup this time, we have a recap of our storm coverage during the past week. That's the week of September 30th through October 4. Let's get started.
Alexander County has made significant progress in its recovery efforts from Tropical Storm Helene. Many of the roads that were initially closed have reopened, and power has been restored to a large amount of customers who were initially without electricity. Havoc was wreaked on Lake Hickory, and I had a chance to catch up with Robert George, who is the sales manager at River's Edge Marina, Docks Marine on Lake Hickory. And you did actually, the boat that's just behind us, we'll get a shot of that and show the folks. You brought that out and you helped with some of the cleanup, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We were out Saturday afternoon, especially near the bridge with some other folks trying to get docks and boats cleared out before any more damage occurred. Some stuff made it under the bridge. We towed some docks back up towards the 127 bridge and tucked in some coves off to the side.
When something like this happens, I'm sure you were watching the forecast. Are there preparations that you start to make, say, maybe last Wednesday or Thursday?
We did. We were watching, checking our docks, our connections that keep our docks in place, double checking our storage customers' lines, make sure everything was tied up well. Just overall, just doing inspections and keeping an eye on addressing any issues before the surge came in.
At the height of the storm, 174 roads remained closed in Alexander County. By Sunday night, that number was down to 7. One of the roads that remained closed was the North Carolina 16 South Bridge at Oxford Dam, and that was to remain closed until the North Carolina Department of Transportation could conduct a comprehensive inspection. You can go to our website, WHKY.com, for the latest on storm recovery efforts across the area. Reporting from Docks Marine, River's Edge Marina, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
Food, water, and other important supplies that are needed during this time are arriving in Asheville and then being airlifted by the North Carolina National Guard to counties within western North Carolina. Here in Hickory today to tell us more, a supplies coordinator about how pilots are coming from everywhere to get supplies delivered where it's needed.
Hi, I am Reagan Rowland. I'm with the efforts here at the Hickory Regional Airport for western North Carolina. What we are doing right now is we're pretty much mobilized as far as helicopters in the sky. What we do need is donations either to the United Way, Tate Boulevard in Hickory, or the Conover Fire Department. We cannot take any more donations here at the Hickory Regional Airport. Needs are baby formula, diapers, infant to elderly, obviously non-perishable foods, wipes, toilet paper, anything you can think of that's immediate. But as far as the Hickory Airport, we're good here now. I would say United Way, Tate Boulevard, and Conover Fire Department.
And as far as it comes with the pilots that are arriving here at Hickory Regional Airport, where are they from and where are they headed?
I'm going to tell you right now, I've never seen anything like I've seen the last 48 hours. I have had, I'm going to get emotional, I have had pilots show up out of nowhere and just say, where do you need me and where do you want me to go? And we've just given them locations, literally, here's an address, and they've landed their helicopters and took in supplies. We did have a drop from a wonderful company called Hilo Air out of Virginia. They sent 4 pilots, no calls, no nothing, and these guys have just been running all day. They saved a life yesterday with dropping insulin in Little Switzerland. So I've got pilots from all over. I've got a pretty famous helicopter pilot came in from Texas. I've got a guy coming from New Jersey. He'll be coming in the next day with supplies, big helicopter, and then he'll run them out.
For much more information and continuous updates about the devastating Hurricane Helene, stay tuned to WHKY.com. I'm Arianna Mack for WHKY. A joint press conference was held on Tuesday, October 1st at 4 p.m. with representatives from Watauga County, the town of Boone, and Appalachian State University. Representatives shared updates and answered questions about the ongoing response efforts related to Hurricane Helene.
Hello, good afternoon. So I'm going to read a statement here, and we'll see if we can make it through this. So, Thank you for being here today to tell our story and spread the word for Watauga County. This storm exceeded all forecast expectations with total rainfall, river flooding, and in conjunction with tropical storm force winds combined to bring the worst natural disaster in modern history to our county. We are now 5 days into this event, which truly began last Wednesday evening when a stalled cold front brought several inches of rain, strong winds, and even an EF1 tornado to the town of Blowing Rock prior to Helene's landfall. As Helene ripped through the county, the river basins rapidly exceeded their capacity, leading to widespread destruction on their own right. In addition to river flooding, 20 inches of rain fell over a widespread area, bringing devastation to our infrastructure as the mountains simply gave way under the weight of the wind and rain. Words cannot truly capture the magnitude of destruction as Mother Nature took back her mountains, leaving scars of where roads and homes once stood. We deeply grieve the loss of life and livelihood, not just Watauga County, but throughout the high country as our neighbors in Ashe and Avery counties, Southwest Virginia and Eastern Tennessee all come to grips with what is now our new normal for the foreseeable future.
The Helene Response Joint Press Conference was at McKinney Alumni Center in Boone, North Carolina. WHKY joined in on a live stream via YouTube and learned this.
North Carolina DOT and many volunteers have worked to clear the miles and miles of tree debris, landslides, and sinkholes. At time of report, there are still over 200 roads closed in the area, with some of those roads simply not existing anymore. Most areas of the county have been accessed at least by UTV, but we do have areas where teams are still working to hike in on foot, and tomorrow we will have teams starting on horseback. Fatalities. Unfortunately, we do have 2 confirmed fatalities due to landslides, with numerous others injured from direct impacts from the storm or in cleanup operations since.
For much more information on the area, stay tuned to townofboone.net, wataugacounty.org, and appstate.edu. I'm Arianna Mack for WHKY. Joining us in Top Stories, Mayor Hank Guess with the City of Hickory. Mayor Guess, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Arianna. I appreciate you having me here
It's
today.
no problem. And tell me about Hickory during this time.
Well, actually, the city of Hickory fared pretty well during Hurricane Helene, and we're trying the best we can to get things back online, of course, here for our citizens in Hickory, but we're also concentrating some of our efforts in helping some of our neighbors in western North Carolina.
Of course. And tell us what we experienced here in Hickory.
Well, here in Hickory, I think we had approximately 12 inches of rain and, of course, a lot of wind that was associated with that. We had a lot of down power lines and trees and things of that, of course, that everybody else experienced in their communities as well. We did have some damages to individual residents and places like that. We had some real minor damage at our Hickory Airport. We had a hangar that was under construction, and of course it was demolished. We had some damages to some other structures in our parks and places like that, but nothing significant really. I think our Duke Energy folks are getting some of those major intersections cleared up, and obviously they've been concentrating their efforts in other municipalities.
Of course. And I know that 5th Street Northeast remains closed. Is there anything else we need to be aware of when it comes to traffic?
Well, of course, we do have some intersections where the power is totally out. And of course, if you approach one of those intersections, first of all, we ask people to be mindful and reduce their speed. There are still some limbs and some trees. I've came through some places today where there's still trees down and places like that. So you want to be cautious and be aware of that. But if you come to an intersection where there's supposed to be a traffic signal and that power is not working at that traffic signal, of course it's to be treated like a 4-way stop. And people just need to be aware of that. All right, Arianna, of course the City of Hickory crews and personnel from our police, our fire, our public works, public utilities, airport, and all of our co-workers really have been working around the clock to keep people safe and to ensure that city services continue to be provided and offer assistance to all of those that are in need. For further updates, please continue to check our City of Hickory website and social media.
Of course, you can also stay tuned to WHKY.com for all of your latest updates. Thank you for joining us on Top Stories, Mayor Hank Guess. I'm Arianna Mack for WHKY.
This is in addition to a declaration that was already in place prior to Helene's arrival in North Carolina. All 4 Hickory metro counties are among the 25 included in this declaration. The declaration means that FEMA will be able to speed additional help to the state and provide individual assistance to people living in those counties, as well as public assistance to reimburse local government, state agencies, and nonprofits or other eligible organizations for funds spent repairing facilities and infrastructure. The counties in the declaration include Alexander, Burke, Caldwell, Catawba, Lincoln, McDowell, and Watauga. As response operations and eligible damages dictate, North Carolina may be able to add additional counties or programs as assessments move forward. The declaration will also provide hazard mitigation grant program funding for future efforts to mitigate the impacts of future events. This declaration is in addition to the federal emergency declaration already in place prior to the impacts of Tropical Storm Helene. Get more information and read the declaration summary at a link that you can find in this story at our website, WHKY.com. Reporting from Catawba County for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood. We're here at Longview Town Hall, and we're in the council chambers with Heather Miner, who is, among other things, the town clerk here in the town of Longview. And you folks, first of all, thanks for joining us. And you folks are doing some really good things for the people in Burke County. A lot of the people watching us and listening to us on WHKY have heard what's happening in Burke County. And here in Longview, you want to do something about it. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So many people don't know this, but 13% of our municipality is within Burke County. So they are our neighbors and partially our home. And we felt like we needed to be able to help them as best as we could. So the town manager and myself and a couple other department heads kind of put our heads together to come up with an idea, and we came up with the idea of Longview Cares. Essentially, we just wanted to help out, so we put together Longview Cares Hurricane Helene Relief Drive, which will be collecting items here at the town of Longview.
What items will you be collecting, and are there any items that you specifically want to tell citizens not to bring?
So obviously no perishable foods, nothing that has to be refrigerated or frozen or anything like that. Preferably new. If you bring blankets, we really don't want to get out anything that's used, so we would prefer new blankets. We're asking for socks. We can also take in first aid items, baby items, which would be like the pre-made formula. We are running this drive through Monday, October 7th. We will be taking what all we collect to the Higher Education Center in Morganton, and they're going to be distributing that.
And if you could, tell us what the actual physical address is for those who want to punch it into the GPS.
Sure. Our address here at Town Hall is 2404 First Avenue Southwest, and that's Hickory 28602.
Heather Miner, the town clerk with Longview, the Hurricane Helene Relief Drive going on here in Longview through October 7th. You can bring items right here to Longview Town Hall. And with Heather, I'm Rob Eastwood for WHKY News.
I'm Arianna Mack for WHKY, reporting here at Hickory Regional Airport, where a Lenore pilot who has been assisting in the delivery of needed supplies in western North Carolina had to make a precautionary landing. On Wednesday, October 2nd, at approximately 12:45 p.m., the North Carolina State Highway Patrol responded to an airplane crash in Catawba County at the Hickory Regional Airport. A single-engine Cessna experienced a mechanical failure, resulting in an emergency landing on the runway. The plane was returning from Avery County after delivering supplies.
An airplane, a Cardinal, came in, circled the field a couple of times, and he had a gear malfunction. The gear malfunction, he tried it a couple of times, notified the tower, and he was cleared to come in. He came in on a belly landing, slid about 60 feet, actually exited the airplane, and everything was fine.
Through your eyes here at the airport now for 3 days, what can you say for the rescue mission and the efforts?
Let me tell you, there's people putting in hundreds of hours between doctors, nurses, PAs, and our pilots alone. They're averaging probably 60,000 in fuel a day. We're asking people to donate. There is an app to donate for fuel.
I'm Arianna Mack reporting for WHKY.
As recovery from Tropical Storm Helene continues, Burke County officials have established points of distribution throughout the county so that easy access is available for residents. These locations are in place so that citizens can obtain emergency supplies. Locations have been designated as points of distribution where emergency supplies can be obtained. These supplies include water, non-perishable food, toiletries, diapers, baby wipes, batteries, and other essential items. They are available at no cost. The points of distribution locations are as follows: George Hildebrand Fire and Rescue at 7470 George Hildebrand School Road in Connolly Springs, Longtown Fire Department at 7765 South Mountain Institute Road in Nebo, and Enola Fire and Rescue at 2510 Enola Road in Morganton. In other news from Burke County, the Outward Bound group was rescued Tuesday from Table Rock Mountain after sheltering in place during the storm. All were well and uninjured. As far as fatalities and injuries, officials are continuing to assess. The boil water advisory has been lifted for the areas served by the Cathy Road, Piney Road, and Glen Alpine tanks. Water tests have confirmed that the water is safe in those areas. You can get much more on Burke County's recovery efforts by going to this story at our website, WHKY.com. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
And we are joined once again by Jay Adams, who has been so kind to come and visit us and give us updates on the recovery efforts for Tropical Storm Helene. Jay Adams is the 96th District State Representative. Thank you again for coming by, and we appreciate all you're doing. I know that it's kind of extraordinary, the effort that's building up here in Hickory. It seems like the Hickory Regional Airport and some other locations, including here at WHKY, have been sort of the different locations to kind of send things out and get things for the folks who need it. So why don't you tell us what's going on now? I know it's kind of an evolving situation.
It is an evolving situation. You have to understand that this is almost entirely a volunteer operation. There's a component at the airport that's using the Fixed Base Operations Center, the FBO. That's the flight operation. And the terminal is being used more or less for medical triage. So we brought in yesterday about 100 people from I guess it was a nursing home in Spruce Pine or near Spruce Pine. So they came into the what we call the terminal, but that's now kind of a medical facility.
And they're all okay?
They were all okay. A little bit confused about what was going on, but you know, they were being very well taken care of. And I would say that's one of the most impressive things about this is the care that's being taken to handle these people. The systems that we're putting together here, there's no recipe, there's no manual that we can go by. So what we have to do is invent things. We have to try things. And what I've been trying to work on is the accumulation of stuff that people are dropping off at the App State campus at the southern parking lot, the App State Hickory campus. The southern parking lots where we're collecting things. Well, we've had to develop better ways of handling those materials, sorting them out, prioritizing them, and getting them over to the airport. We're getting better at it. Let me just give a list of things that we still need to get. These are priority items. A lot of other things are needed, but right now still feminine hygiene products, sanitary wipes, very important, pre-mixed baby formula, not the dry formula, pre-mixed, insulin and insulin products, non-perishable foods. And when I say non-perishable foods, canned foods are good, but these small helicopters are better capable of handling lightweight stuff, even snacks and things that are relatively lightweight. And the thing that's come up today is buckets. We need a lot of buckets, and that's something we didn't mention yesterday.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
We're learning as we go. It's been quite an experience. I think there are going to be a lot of memories made, some of them good, some of them bad, but working together with people, and I'm telling you, working together with people that you might not always agree with, but you're getting something done, and it's very, very important, and we're really distinguishing our region by our effort.
We thank you for your updates, and we know that you'll keep us posted on what's going on.
I'll do my best.
Jay Adams, who is the 96th District Representative represents us in Raleigh, and he joins us with an update on Tropical Storm Helene relief efforts as they continue here in Hickory. And with Jay, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
Thank you.
Joining us on WHKY, Brock Long, former Federal Emergency Management Agency Administrator. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
Of course. From your perspective of previous storms, maybe Hugo, what is happening post-Helene?
So Hugo attacked us in a completely different way. It was mostly high winds. Yes, there was water associated and some flooding in areas, but high winds was the major issue, which caused a lot of vegetative debris and power down. This is largely a water event. Obviously copious amounts of rain, the orographic effects of mountains increases rainfall with these systems as they're passing through, just overwhelming and inundating drainage systems and different things, exacerbating flooding. And, it's going to be a complex disaster and a long recovery. And so, right now, emergency management is a team sport. There are multiple players involved, from neighbor helping neighbor, the local emergency management agency requesting support from the state, and the state requesting support from FEMA. All of it is designed to work together to right now alleviate pain and suffering, life safety search and rescue, and then life-sustaining missions. So how do you help people where they are, or how do you get them into a safe, sanitary, functional place to render services to them there. And then eventually what you're going to see is a longer term shift to initial recovery and then long-term community recovery with a whole host of grants coming our way.
Of course. And what are some qualifications for FEMA to provide disaster relief? There are thresholds. Obviously, all of the disaster declarations, processes have been turned on. There's really two types of assistance. There's individual assistance that will be rendered to people who have been directly impacted by the event. And then there's public assistance, which is assistance designed to alleviate infrastructure damages and help with the repair and recovery of those. And in your experience, how can FEMA help those devastated?
Well, a couple ways. One, the most important thing is neighbor helping neighbor. So even before FEMA is here and providing, largely recovery grants, to help kickstart recovery in communities, but also in households that have been directly impacted. The other thing you have to realize is that neighbor helping neighbor is the most important piece, and it's important to donate and volunteer your time, but make sure you're plugged into a specific mission, because what you don't want to do is just start collecting supplies without having a clear mission to execute or need, that's been identified to help them overcome. You don't want to just self-deploy into these areas and dump stuff off, because you're actually adding to the problem of the lack of the ability to manage donations.
Thank you so much for your time and joining us on WHKY. I'm Arianna Mack for WHKY.
And we are joined today by Donald Duncan, the Caldwell County manager, checking on how things are going in the aftermath of Helene up in Caldwell County. Thank you so much for coming in. First of all, it's good to have you.
We're glad to be here, Rob. It's been a trying time. We've been a lot of hours in it, but we're getting there. We're moving forward.
You're staying busy because when you came into the station, your phone was going off, your watch was going off, so a lot of folks are still staying in touch. Tell us now, how are things in Caldwell County? I know Collettsville in particular, Wilson Creek area was really hit hard.
Yeah, the whole county was hit hard, particularly the northern and western sections, anything going north of Lenore toward Blowing Rock, the Happy Valley area, but Caldwell, Wilson Creek, Collettsville area, all the way up into Mortimer, Edgemont and the Globe was just completely devastated. It does, when you hear people say a bomb went off, that's what it looks like. We had several small tornadoes that spun up. I actually survived a tornado myself on the roof of a building. So we got to experience quite a bit of that. And the pressure that we've been under as a team has been tremendous, because a lot of professionals that have a tremendous amount of experience in emergency management. This is still the biggest event we've all ever seen collectively. So it's been fun. We've done a lot of 20-hour days, a lot of lost sleep. You go home and you got to deal with a yard full of debris, and then you go back to work and you're dealing with all these other folks and trying to help them with their problems. So
making progress at this point?
We're making great progress. We're moving forward. I want to stress safety to everybody. We're starting to see more and more issues, people burning brush. We've had people already caught on fire. We've had to treat burn victims. We've had people injured by chainsaw. It's not worth it. Stay safe, be prepared. Main thing is wear proper protective equipment.
And don't overwork yourself, don't stress, get the debris out and we'll take care of it, we'll get it up.
And how are the roads? Is that coming along as well, getting more roads open?
More roads every day. We still have about 25 streets in Lenoir that are closed. Most everything in Granite, Sawmills, and Hudson is ready to go. There's a few key places that just have a lot of pole damage that has to be removed before they can get the roads open. The other thing that you're going to see now too is that line crews and DOT crews are working. So you'll see a road that was open yesterday is closed today. Not that something's wrong, but they're in there doing repair work.
How can people help the folks of Caldwell County?
So we are taking donations. Caldwell County is setting up the Western distribution center for the whole western part of the state. That will be up and running this afternoon as we speak. We have National Guard members coming in. We've worked with a wonderful local partner here in Hickory Springs. They had a warehouse for lease. They've leased it to us at a below market rate and waived a lot of the fees so we could get into it. The county commissioners approved that contract last night in an emergency meeting. So today we'll be opening a 90,000 square foot warehouse. Right now, if you have donations, take them to any donation drop-off point. Also, I'll remind everybody, use reputable 501c3 companies. Use your United Way, your Rotary Club, your Ruritan clubs.
And last thing, we'll close on, is there a website, Facebook page that folks can go for information about Caldwell County?
We would ask you to go to our Caldwell County webpage. We have a link just for disaster relief, and it has all the information on it that any citizen is going to know. And this information is not only good for Caldwell County, but also good for surrounding counties.
Okay, Donald Duncan, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
Al.
It's good to meet you and good to have you in the studio. Donald Duncan, the Caldwell County manager, updating us on conditions in Caldwell County, and we appreciate him joining us here on WHKY News.
We are joined again today by State House Representative Jay Adams with the 96th District. Mr. Adams, great to have you with us again today. We certainly do appreciate your time. I know you've got a lot to talk about. Things are constantly evolving, constantly changing. The needs change from day to day. What can you tell us?
The needs today, the thing that is popped up to the top of the list is small generators. Any kind of generator is useful. Small generators can power the oxygen supplies that some people need. Chainsaws, but we need chainsaw bars, we need chainsaw chains, and chainsaw lube. Insulin. The need for insulin was not fully understood. Any insulin product are needed. Can openers. If you're going to send canned goods, send a can opener. And that was an oversight. Cots, air mattresses, basically camping gear. If you want to, another item is if you want to help out, don't just show up at the airport or show up at one of the centers. Call this number, 828-323-7777. Be patient. It's a call center. They will schedule you to work at various places. This will be much better than just trying to show up at a location. And I want to just say this. The number of volunteers has been absolutely amazing. And it's a changing thing. I see new faces all the time at the airport and at App State at the South parking lot. This is just really makes me very proud of our area. I'm going to change subjects now.
Sure. You mentioned the airport, a moment ago, and you said they've gotten permission to use some larger helicopters. Right. What does that entail?
Well, what that involves is a couple of Hueys, and it took some special permission. There are various protocols to use these larger and frankly older helicopters, but they've got that now. So that means they'll be able to airlift more people and heavier equipment. Other thing that's happening is airports in other counties are beginning to open up. So we have better access and deeper into the mountain areas. I will also say, I mentioned yesterday, we had a group of people that do off-road vehicles. We've got them located in Caldwell County, so they'll be getting operational soon. That means they'll be able to push deeper into some of the areas that really aren't serviced by functional streets. But we also have, and I think people probably have seen it on social media, there's actually a mule train going into the mountains.
An actual mule train.
Actual mule train. And frankly, they can go places that the ATVs can't go.
Sure.
So we're going back to our roots in a manner of speaking. One thing I will say is there are a lot of casualties, but our attitude is simply this. The people in the mountains are extremely resilient and very resourceful people, and I think there are going to be people up there for a long time that figure out a way to survive, and we're going to find them. That's a real important thing that keeps us moving. It's evolving. I won't say getting better. It's getting different, and it's becoming more and more functional. That's where we are.
Thank you so much, Representative Adams. You've been in so much, I feel like we need to have you on payroll here. I believe I believe you even shot the footage that we used Wednesday when the plane made the emergency landing at the airport, if I understand correctly. So not only a state representative, also a WHKY cameraman. How about that? Thank you so much.
I guess I did do that.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you for allowing me to do this. We need to be informed, and there are a lot of rumors going around. And I'm going to tell you, rumors are a real waste of time. And making half statements about things you really don't know about, somebody has to run that down, and that takes time, it takes energy. We don't have any energy or time to spare. But thank you everybody for jumping in on this. It's been amazing in that respect.
The agency has received reports of a fraudulent website claiming to offer Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, assistance. The scam site is disasterassistance.org. It is asking for personal information with false promises of stimulus or Cash App payments. Do not provide any information or log into this site. The Sheriff's Office will share the correct website for FEMA assistance as soon as it becomes available. Only follow links provided by official county sources. Stay vigilant and protect your personal information. If you have shared information with the .org version of this site, get in touch with your banks quickly. The agency is also asking you to note that Burke County employees are not going house to house to ask for donations. Do not provide cash or credit card information to these individuals. No authorizations allow someone to go to your home and request donations. Get more information on this scam and also some tips on how to avoid being victimized by perpetrators who emerge whenever a natural disaster occurs by going to this story at our website, WHKY.com. Reporting from Burke County, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
And that's a look back at our coverage surrounding Tropical Storm Helene. You can find the WHKY News every weekday on over-the-air TV and at WHKY.com and on our YouTube channel. I'm Ralph Mangum. Thanks for joining us.